Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Irreverent Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, good blessed morning, children everywhere. All my children. Lord have mercy. It is a beautiful day wherever you are, because if you're watching, you're alive. Unless you're like not alive. Well, you're alive, but you're like in a room where you're being forced to watch this because the person in the next hospice bed wants to watch this, and then you're like maybe barely alive. But that's okay. If you've got breath, you've got hope. Unless you're like last 2 or 3 breaths, then maybe there's always hope. There's always hope for the afterlife. If you believe in that stuff, then there's hope for that. If not, never mind. I just got death on my mind because there's been a passing in the family, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Let me start off, please, by thanking everybody who has joined us, all brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Church of Last Resort. I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, DDS, ADHD, MCMLIX, pregnant pause for drama. There we go. We could please, if we could please have we'll start opening prayers. If you please bow your heads, unless you are driving your car or your significant other. And in that case, if that is the case, just close your eyes and let Jesus do the driving while we pray. It has to be an automatic. It cannot be a stick. Jesus does not drive stick, not since, he's got an issue with sticks. There was like 2 big sticks. Well, let's just say that he's suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic sacrifice disease. He don't like sticks no more, so he will only drive an automatic, which is why you hear about so many people like driving the big rigs who like close their eyes and let Jesus take the wheel, and then they wind up in an embankment or worse. It's because Jesus don't drive stick. He knows how. He just can't get his hand on it. He goes to reach for the stick, and it's like, ugh! Yeah. He's like, I can't touch it. I can't touch it. It's like, I want to touch the stick. Oh Lord, I can't touch the stick. Every time I try to touch the stick, that happens. It's a reflex, muscle memory. The muscle memory. He thinks stick, and his arms just go whop whop, just like that. It's muscle memory because he was there for a long time. So muscle memory. It's not nothing personal, but if you got a stick, he ain't touching it, So automatic. So if you have an automatic, let Jesus drive for a while we pray. So, dear Lord, please bless the Mind Dog TV family as we celebrate the life of one of our own. Mind Dog Coffee was removed from life support last week and now has been received into that great coffee urn in the sky. While rumors of his death have been percolating for some time now, you know how rumors go. They drip, drip, drip. Everyone knows something's brewing as we try to filter out the noise and grind down to the truth. Let me say that again. We try to filter out the noise and grind down to the truth. And the truth is, Mind Dog Coffee was strong but not strong enough, and could not hang on any longer. So we have to let it go. Let it go. Let it go right through us. But it will be part of us for however long it takes for it to pass through us. I think 15 minutes or so. So we pray good Mind Dog Coffee. As we pray for good Mind Dog Coffee, let us remember its goodness, being respectful, and buying a mug or two of the coffee cups.
Yeah.
Of the flavor, the goodness, the wholesomeness, the greatness of what really was Mind Dog Coffee. I'm talking about the essence of what Mind Dog Coffee was. It was not just about the bean. Lord, no, have mercy. It was not just about the grinds. Oh, no, Lord, have mercy. It was not just about the caffeine. No, Lord, have mercy. It was not just about the rich, dark flavor. Like my wife, Mona, talks about me, that rich, dark flavor. It was not just about that. Mind Dog Coffee was about making money and goodness and starting your day off right. And Mind Dog had all of that other stuff except for the making money part. They had to go. I'm sorry, he died. It's not like we got rid of him. We kind of. Well, not we. I didn't have a choice. I didn't make the decision. We know who the murderer is. Well, it's not like a murderer per se. It's just putting it out his misery because it didn't make enough money. It's like an old whore, okay? The Mind Dog Coffee was like an old prostitute, okay? For a while, it looked like they was going to meet. Put her on the street because you say, hey, she's experienced. She's been around. She knows how to make people happy. And then people look and go, yeah, she may know what she's doing. But I'm going to pay for that $5 crack whore because $20 for experience. I don't know if that's worth it. I'm still going to get off either way. So I kind of understand what happened. Mind Dog was the old hooker on the street. Not Mind Dog. Mind Dog Coffee was the old hooker on the street. And it was like, I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to pay extra for that goodness. And that's not right. That's not right. Because there's something said about richness. There's something to be said about flavor. There's something to be said about experience. Although I didn't say it about it in any of those sentences, but there's something to be said about it. I'm just not going to say it. Lord have mercy. Can I get a last drop? Whew. And dear Lord, protect our wallets. Protect our wallets as we invest in the talents of athletes that are in the NBA playoffs. As we say in the church, the playoffs. The playoffs looking for a payoff. That's what I'm talking about. The playoffs looking for a payoff. Like the good book says, there's a time for everything under the sun. And first game, the Suns were under the Timberwolves. But the sun will rise again, hopefully. At least cover the point spread, even if they don't rise, win, at least cover the damn point spread. And when the time comes, may the refs swallow their whistles, especially if the game is close. And the Suns are playing. Yes, Lord. Lord, I am asking that you be partial, but fair. Biased, but honest. Put your thumb on the scale, but be just. A little bit in my favor. Can we get a rebound from March Madness? And finally, Lord have mercy. Lord, please bless the entire Mind Dog family, the entire behind the scenes Mind Dog family. They are truly doing your work. They are truly helping to spread your word throughout the wordosphere. Yes, Lord, the wordosphere. They could be anywhere today. Anywhere. But they are here just wishing they were anywhere today. That's dedication. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for the Mind Dog TV family. MindDogTV.com. The place to go to get your Church of the Last Resort gear, like this here mug or this here shirt. What? You say that shirt is too small for me? Well, bam! It gets bigger. Look at that. That shirt got bigger. It's a miracle. It's a last church. It's a damn miracle. That's what it is. It's a damn last Church of Last Resort miracle. It went from you saw how small it was before? It was like a baby size, and bam! Now it fits a full-grown adult. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to bless you, and thank you for blessing us with the bump that gets us through the day, the bump that gets us through the week, the bump that gets us through this show. Thank you, Lord. Damn good bumping. That's some seriously good bump. That's the kind of bump that make you go, That's what I'm talking about. You go like, double bump. So let us get this thing started in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck? Yeah. Fuck yeah! I know I missed the first one, and I realized it mid-sentence in another prayer. But you don't stop the prayer because you fucked up. You don't do that. You stop the prayer because you got to pee or something. You don't stop it for a mistake. Because the Lord understands that we're human. The Lord understands that we make mistakes. The Lord understands that we are human because the Lord made us that way. If the Lord had not made us human, the Lord could have made us apes. He could have made us birds, could have made us snakes. Some of us did make snakes. We call them the politicians. But that's okay. We're going to talk about that later, a little bit later, in about 2 seconds, as soon as I put down my mug there. The mug is down, and so now we can talk about the very next thing on our agenda. Yes, we have an agenda. That reminds me, I was supposed to call a friend of mine, well, not really a friend. He was a friend 4 years ago. I haven't talked to him in 4 years. He may not still be a friend. I don't know. It's like that. Time passes. We have people in our lives who've been part of our lives for like quite some time. And after a while, you just lose touch. And it's not that you don't love them anymore. Although I didn't really love I didn't love this other friend, but that's not the point. I'm talking about you now. It's not that you don't love them. And it's not even that you don't think about them from time to time. It's that maybe when you think about them, you're driving down the road. And since everything is hands-free, you can't just pick up the phone and go, hey, I want to talk while I'm driving. Because then you get pulled over. You go like, well, they were a friend, but they're not worth getting pulled over and getting a ticket. So I'll call them a little bit later, and then a little bit later come look and go like, oh Lord, it's like after 8 o'clock. They might be asleep by now because they could be an old friend. Old friends sleep early. If it's a young friend, they might be up till at least 8:30, 9 o'clock. But you're looking at the watch and go, I don't know if I can call them now because I don't know what their lifestyle is about. I want to call them and see how they're doing. I want to say, hey, Bill. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said Bill. Well, I'm not. His name's not Bill, so I guess I can say Bill. But now Bill thinks I'm thinking about him, and I wasn't thinking about him. If he's watching the show, and Bill's gonna say, "Oh Lord, Jesus, the Dr. Jelly's gonna call me because Bill says I haven't talked to him in 4 years." And I'm like, "You're right, Bill, I haven't, but I don't want to talk to you. But I just used the name out of random. Now I must be subconsciously thinking about you, and I wasn't thinking about you. Damn it." So let's say Tim. Fuck. I haven't talked to Tim in a while either. Okay, here's the point. The point is, your friends, let's talk about your friends, not mine. You may not have talked to, and you want to say, I want to call my friend Paul, or whatever his name is, or her name. Her name could be Paul. Okay, you call your friend Paul or Paula, and you want to say, how's the family? And then so much time has passed, anything could have happened to their family. And now you're embarrassed to find out that you're going like, hey, how's the family? They're going like, terrible, terrible, terrible. In the 4 years since you neglected to call me, they all died. Tragic train wreck. They were in a car, and they tried to make it across the tracks before the train made it. And kabooey, all gone, just like that. It could be something tragic, just like that. And to be honest, that's on them. They should have called you in that case, and they should have reached out instead of waiting for you to reach out. They should have taken their time and called all their friends and said, look, I know you're probably not going to call me for like 4 years. So I'm telling you this now. So if you call me in 4 or 5 years, you won't be surprised to find out that my family's dead or that I'm dead. And so I'm calling you right now. So in that case, you call them so that you won't have them being embarrassed when they forget to call you and they finally call you and they say, how's the family? They won't be surprised. They'll say, how you been doing since you lost your family 4 years ago? That's a much more better way to deal with that situation. So if you're having a tragedy, reach out to your friends. Don't wait for your friends to reach out to you because your friends aren't going to do it sometimes. Sometimes your friends are going to wait 5, 10, 15 years before they even think that they could be helping you by calling you. So you call your friends. You're in need, you're in trouble, you're upset, call your friends. Don't wait for them to call you because some people, to be honest, they're just too damn selfish to be reaching out and calling people. And they just wait, they're busy and their lives go on and they get like ordained and then they get like their a podcast, a show, and then they lose that show or they walk off of that show and then time passes and they get another show and the show that doesn't, and it doesn't have like the viewership. So, he's struggling to get by, but that's okay. Things happen and I'm not talking about me per se. I'm just talking about somebody exactly like me, but not me. That would be selfish. If I turned your tragedy into all about me, that would be selfish. It's your tragedy. So I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about somebody exactly like me so that I'm not being selfish. All right, there we go. So, I don't even know how I got on that tangent. That's not even on the page anywhere. Okay. And I don't even have a full page of notes because I was doing so much driving on Friday, and I'm not talking about that driving. That's today, later today, late day. I was so tired Friday. It just threw, I did so much driving on Friday, trying to bring joy to people's lives that Saturday got really fucked up. I mean, I usually wake up Saturday morning at 6 a.m., but I didn't go to bed on Saturday until 4:30 a.m. So I tried to get up at 6. I said, fuck that. I did my beauty rest. You think it is not this easy staying this beautiful. It's not. It takes a lot of sleep, a lot of sleep. And I tried to get all that sleep on Saturday, but as you can tell, I'm missing some of that sleep. So I'm going to try to make up for it later. Maybe Wednesday. I think, yeah, Wednesday is the next time we get to do some sleeping. I think good. So, but the point is that I didn't have an opportunity. Because I'm trying to. You get up late and you lose time. Because just because you're sleeping doesn't mean time stops for you. Time stops for no man or woman. Although I've seen a woman stop traffic. I have seen that. Well, the woman didn't stop traffic. The woman just walked by. I stopped traffic. I went, and so I stopped traffic. It really wasn't her fault. She shouldn't have worn that skirt. Well, she was asking to stop traffic. She was. It turns out it wasn't even really, wasn't even her skirt. She borrowed that from her husband. I know. Shocking that they are the same size. I know. But if you're lucky, if you're a woman and you have a husband who likes to dress up in women's clothing, if you're lucky, you're wearing the same size. So when he gets that funky outfit that looks scary on him but looks good on you, you can borrow it and stop traffic. That's what I'm saying. So don't kick the baby out with the bathwater. Don't drown the baby with the bathwater. Don't. Whatever you're doing with bathwater, don't do it with the baby. Okay? Yeah, unless you're cleaning the baby. In that case, don't scrub it too hard. That's another problem. People scrubbing babies too hard. Yeah. But that's not the point. That's not the deal. That's not why we're here today. This show was billed. B-I-L-L-E. Yes, build, not built. That's something else. Because the show hasn't been built. It's like there's a scaffolding here. But it was billed on what your pets are telling you. Yeah. Now you're probably thinking, what the fuck kind of sermon is that? And I'm telling you, it's not that kind of sermon. Because when I say what your pets are telling you, I am not one of those people who anthropomorphize. You're saying, my God, he broke that word down slowly so that I can understand it. No, I slowed that word down because I have trouble saying anthropomorphize. And that word alone could throw my tongue right out of whack. So I have to slow down when I want to say anthropomorphize, because there's so many syllables in there that just don't seem like they belong next to each other. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like anthropomorphize. You know what I'm saying? It's just too many O-O's in there. Like R-O-P-O-M-O. It's just, it's almost like saying R2-D2. Why you need both twos? Why they need all those O's in the middle of that word? It kind of, maybe I could be the only one having trouble saying that word, okay? Like entrepreneur. I have trouble saying that word too. I have to read it. And you're saying, why did you write the word entrepreneur in the middle of a sentence about anthropomorphizing? And I had to write it down so that I could say it. Because if I had said it off the top of my head, I could not say it. Watch. Enter room, please. See, I can't say entrepreneur. Enter room, please. I have to read it. So, anthropomorphize is a $10 word for assigning human qualities to inhuman things. Pretty simple. And we do so, by naming those things, inviting those things into our home, electing those things to public office. Can I get, who's a good old boy? Who's a good old boy? So, yes, there are towns who have elected dogs and cats to public office, although mostly we elect snakes and leeches. Truly, that's the case. Snakes and leeches is who we usually elect to office. But today I'm just talking about, but that's not what I'm talking about in today's sermon. I'm not talking about the animals that we've elected to public office, although we did that because we assigned human qualities to inhuman things. But that's not what today's sermon is about. Today's sermon is about 20 minutes too long. Even if it only lasts 10 minutes, it's still 20 minutes too long. That's what I'm saying. That's what it's about. It's about length and girth. But today it's just long. We'll talk about girth next week. But if we're still talking about pets and talking about girth, there's something wrong. Change your channel. You're not watching me. That's all I'm saying. If that's what you're seeing, it's not me. Because I never talk about pets and girth in the same sentence. It's wrong. You don't do that. Okay? Unless you're talking about a chubby little puppy. And then, even then, they're so cute. It's a cute little puppy with a chubby, chubby belly. It's a chubby, chubby, chubby belly. But you don't say girth when you're talking about a puppy. You don't. You say chubby, chubby, chubby. Okay? Although you could say chubby, chubby, chubby and still be talking about girth and not be talking about a puppy. And again, you're probably watching the wrong show because this is not that show. We don't talk about those things. So, what I'm talking about, okay, well, actually, it's about 20 minutes too long, but it's also about how pets unwillingly act as go-betweens in our relationships. See, when we get pets, quite often, okay, there are some people who are having trouble in the relationship and they think pets are the solution. They're saying, we are having trouble getting along, so let's bring a pet into the household to fix our relationship. So the first thing that pet is telling you is that there's something wrong with your relationship. And the pet hasn't even been bought yet. And the pet is already telling you there's something wrong with your relationship because you're buying the pet to fix your relationship instead of fixing your relationship and not dragging the pet into it. Okay, because you drag the pet into a relationship, the pet is going to have to choose sides. And then you got this little pet who is totally innocent, but because both of you are trying to win the pet's love instead of each other's affection, you're trying to win the pet's affection instead of each other's affection, you're both giving the pets extra treats. Okay, and now the pet is unhealthy. It's unhealthy because it's just a fat little puppy. Instead of chubby, 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 now he's just fat. Okay, and all of a sudden, you got a pet too fat to choose sides because he's just rolling over on one side because he can't even get up because you've been giving the pet extra food trying to win his affection, when you should be trying to win the affection of the other person, if you want to be with that person. See, that's just it. That's just it. Sometimes there's trouble in a relationship, and instead of saying, you know something, there's trouble in a relationship, let's not drag a pet into it to try to fix it. Let's not have a baby to fix it. Let's just say it's broken and go our separate ways. No, it happens. That's how, if it did not happen, I would not have the great wife I have right now. Because in my first marriage, shit was broken. We went our separate ways. But she couldn't leave. She was buried in the backyard. So I went my separate way. And Mona, she said to her husband, "You're a low down piece of shit. I can be miserable by myself. Why am I gonna be miserable with you and have to clean up behind you, your lazy ass? Your money ain't worth it. I got my own money. I got my own career. I don't need you." And the shit was broken, so she packed her shit and she left. Actually, she kicked him out and he left. But then we found each other. And we would not have found each other if we did not have the courage to end those first relationships. So if your relationship's in trouble, give you a chance to be happy, break it off, go find another relationship person instead of a pet. But this sermon is for those people who did not listen to that and they got the pet. Quite often, so as I said, because I don't even know where I was. So if I'm repeating myself, that's okay. Just fast forward through this part. It's that button. It's usually pointing toward the right. And why is that forward and left is reversed? You ever think about that? because left and right is not forward and reverse. The buttons should be pointing away from the screen and back toward the screen. So forward is toward the screen this way. That's forward. And that's how the button should be pointing. When you hit forward, it should be just like that, forward. And the button for back should be just like this, or like that, like this. See? But no, they've trained us that right is forward and left is back. That's arbitrary. You know, why didn't it go up and down? Why aren't the arrows going up and down for forward and back? You know, I don't know. I'm just asking because I just thought about that. And none that I thought, once I think about it, I got to get it out my brain. And you have to listen to it. You can fast forward through it if you know which button it is. Now I think it's the left button. Could be. I don't know. But anyway, that's not important. Quite often, when two or more people are cohabitating, they fail to communicate. In some cases, they begin to exhibit passive, aggressive behavior, like leaving the seat up or gluing the seat down, but mainly leaving the seat up or leaving the seat up and not flushing it. Or they leave the seat up and they flush it, but they use the other person's toothbrush to clean the toilet. At which point, it stops being a toothbrush and it becomes a toothbrush. Okay? And that's just for people in Alabama, Kentucky, who only have the one toothbrush. I have a teeth brush that I use. I use it for all of my teeth. Now, some people are so rich that they have one brush for each tooth. You know, they have like a cup and they have like 32 brushes in there, one for each tooth. Okay? And those are people who have too much money and too much fucking time on their hands. I use a teeth brush. But now we're talking about someone who just used a toothbrush to clean the toilet. And they didn't tell anybody and he put it back. And wouldn't that be really weird if the person had 32 toothbrushes for their mouth, used a one toothbrush, maybe for the incisor, the upper left incisor, you put it back, and they use each toothbrush, they go like, oh, let's do this, they go there, so let's do this one here. Oh, how about this? Let's get a toothbrush. Ah, here we go. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. You get another one, ha 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 ha, another one. And they go like, oh shit. I think that tooth is dying. Got to go to the dentist. You may have saved their life. You know, 4 out of 5 dentists recommend stinky toothbrushes for people who don't brush their teeth. So that when they do brush their teeth, they think the tooth is dying and they go see a dentist. That's 4 out of 5 dentists. The 5th dentist has a toilet brush and doesn't clean his toilet with a regular toothbrush or teeth brush. Okay. But sometimes we go beyond that and we use our household pets to express our pet peeves. Let me say that again. Sometimes we go beyond the passive aggressive behavior and we use our pets, our household pets, to express our pet peeves. We shouldn't do that. We should not do that. Our peeves should be petless. We should not be dragging our pets into our peeves. But apparently they're not. We drag our furry little friends, unless they're reptiles or amphibians or leeches. Actually, I think leeches have fur. Well, not fur, but a little cilia on their back. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen a leech. It's been actually it's been 20 years since I've seen a leech. No, 20 years since I've seen a leech. It was back when my wife and Mona and I were dating, and she has where she lived in Maine, they had well water and a septic system, and out near the septic system they had a leach field, and I was out there. I can't remember why I was out there, but I fell down and I slipped and I fell and my hand hit all this water stuff, and it was really wet. And I said, "Holy crap!" And my wife goes, "That's our leach field." I said, "Leeches? You got leeches? What the fuck you doing with leeches? This is Maine." And she laughed at me because she didn't know that I didn't know that what a leach field was, because I grew up in the city. We don't have leeches or leach fields. And as smart as I was, as high as my IQ was, that was not part of my experience. And initially, she thought I was joking until she saw that I was upset that she didn't tell me she had a leach field and let me just go walking through her the leeches. And so she laughed because she thought I was being funny, and I was upset because I thought she was being selfish. So, but that was the last time I saw a leech. That was back in Maine 20 years ago when I was walking through my wife's leach field. Well, not walking, I fell. So, yeah, so it could be leeches. But then they wouldn't be our furry friends. See, snakes and amphibians are not our furry friends. But I don't judge, okay? If that's the kind of pet you want to have it. Okay, I'm not here to judge. You know, I'm not like some people who care about what kind of pet you have. I just care that you take care of the pets and they're not suffering because you're using them to balance out your relationship. So here's what I'm talking about. Let me give you a good example, a really good example of what I'm talking about. Let me think of a good example that I can tell you, because that's as far as I got. The last thing I wrote down was, I do not judge. And then at 4:30, I went to bed this morning because I said, I'd rather be alert so that I could think of what comes next than write down what comes down next and then be too tired to read it. We're about to find out which choice is a better choice. Is it better to stay awake and finish your paper for your oral presentation, or write down that note, get sleep, so that when you get to this point in your oral presentation, you can continue with lucid mind and clarity of thought? We're about to find out which is better. Let me see. I do not judge. Okay, that's where I was. I do not judge. I'm gonna use this as an example because I want people to understand this shit really happens. I'm not making this shit up, okay? Because a lot of times, the reason why I mention all these things is sometimes people, not everybody, a lot of people, as soon as you mention it, you don't even finish the sermon, they go, I got it. I've done this in my life. I know I've done this. I talk to my pet instead of my spouse. I talk to my pet instead of my significant other. And they've already turned the thing off, and they've gone and gotten rid of the other person. They turned this thing off 20 minutes, 15 minutes ago. They turned it off. And they went to handle their business because I got it. He's right. I use my pet to talk. And there's other people going, who does that? And those are the people that are probably still listening, or people who don't have a choice, like the people behind the scenes. They don't have a choice. He probably goes like, I don't need this advice. I don't need this shit. I'm going to take a nap. And I don't blame him. Shit. If I didn't have to stand here, I'd take a nap too. If I had narcolepsy, I'd take a nap too. If I had too many drugs, I'd take a nap too. Or if I didn't have enough drugs, I'd take a nap too. There you go. Thank you, Bill. I'll call you later. It's been about 4 years since we talked. So, my first wife, we're going to call her the Beast. I don't want to use her real name on the air, but I will use her real description, the Beast. And I call her that because she had this little tattoo on the back of her neck that when you're doing it, reverse cowgirl looks like 999. But when you do it missionary, it's 666. Yeah, that woman. The Beast, that. Yeah, now you know who I'm talking about. So the Beast asked me before she left the house to go to work because it was my day off. I used to work a 3-day work week back then. I know, jealous much. fuck I was. I didn't know it was a good thing. You ever have something really good and you don't know it's a good thing? You just bitch about it. And you don't know it's a good thing until it's gone. And then you went, fuck, I spent 4 years or 14 years bitching about that. And those were really good years. I didn't know it's going to get worse. I worked a 3-day work week. Actually, I knew that was a good thing. I didn't bitch about that. I'm not that stupid. No. Anybody working a 3-day work week and getting paid for like a 5-day work week, they got it good. Especially if they're not even working 40 hours in those 3 days. It's just that the job is that demanding, and you just only have to work 3 days to do it. You know what I'm saying? Those are fucking good old days. I kind of miss those days, but I didn't know they were the good old days because me and the other guys, some of the guys worked 4-day work week, and they were like bitching. They were going, I don't think it's fair that the Reverend, actually I wasn't a Reverend back then. I don't think it was fair that Jelly gets to work 3 days a week and I got to work 4. And no, they were bitching over having a 4-day work week because they couldn't. Imagine that if you're working 5 days a week and you could, and you're going like, that's a stupid bastard bitching about working 4 days a week, and they were bitching because they were working 4 days a week. They didn't know they had it good until the company closed down, and then we were all working no days a week. No, 3 days a week looks pretty fucking good right now. I know. So I was working 3 days a week. So it was one of my days off. I had 2 and the weekend. But my first wife, the Beast, had to work 5 days a week. And she wasn't gone enough out of the house. But that's beside the point. The point is she got a dog that we didn't need. Actually, she already had the dog. Did we? Yeah, she had the dog. But that's the point. That's beside the point. She had asked me to take the clothes out of the washer and to put them in the dryer. And then, I'm sorry. The clothes were in the dryer and they were running. That's right. Yes, she had put clothes in the dryer just before she left to go to work. And she says to me, she goes, Jelly? I said, yeah, Beast. That's my pet name for her. I said, yeah, Beast. And she goes, would you take the clothes out of the dryer when the dryer stops? And I appreciate it. And I went, sure. Okay. But she got home from work after a long day of work, after 8 hours or so. She comes home from work and she's kind of mad at me because, first of all, she's mad because I didn't have to work. I didn't make her choose that job. She chose that job. It's not like she was at home and she was in bed and the job came by and snatched her out of bed and said, come on in. She applied for that job. Okay? I applied for my job. But every time she came home from work after I had a day off, she was mad at me. And so she comes home. I know she's coming. I open the door. She walks right by me and she walks to the dog. And she says to the dog, "That's my little girl. That's my little girl. Did you take the clothes out the dryer today? I know you didn't take the clothes out the dryer today. No, you didn't. I know you didn't take the clothes out the dryer. I know you didn't take the clothes out the dryer." And then she went downstairs and she didn't even open the dryer. She just put 40 minutes on the dryer so it would get the wrinkles out and hit start. And she walked away. Didn't even open the dryer. Didn't even check. She just put it on and hit start. So she can get the wrinkles out of the clothes that I left there for 8 hours. Or 9. However long she thought in her mind that I left the clothes. And then she came upstairs. And I didn't say anything because she never asked me if I took the clothes out the dryer. Had she asked me, I'd have said something. But she asked the dog. Okay? So I had dinner already because I'm that kind of guy. I was off work. Dinner was ready. She came home. She eats. And the dryer buzzer goes off. And she goes downstairs. And she opens the dryer. And the dryer is empty. And then she comes upstairs. And she says to me, why didn't you tell me that you took the clothes off the dryer? And I said, you didn't ask me. You asked the dog. So I was waiting for the dog to answer you. If you had asked me, I would have told you. I took the clothes out the dryer. I folded the clothes. I put the clothes away. I put your clothes in your drawer. I put the daughter's clothes in her drawer. And I put my clothes in my drawer. Because that's how it goes. I could have put her clothes in my drawer and my clothes in the little girl's drawer and the little girl's drawer clothes in my drawer, whatever. I could have done all that, but that's not where the clothes went. Okay. I put everybody's clothes in their own drawer. And so I told her, I said, you didn't ask me, you asked the dog. And the reason she asked the dog was because she was too mad to ask me anything. And she was mad at me for shit not even my fault. That's what I'm saying. But she just got to the point where she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to the dog. Okay? And there's some people, their whole relationships are like that. They don't talk to each other anymore. They talk to the dog or their cat. Okay? And I'm not talking about the good way. I'm not talking, there's a good way to do it. Okay? Like I know I hate to brag. I got a great wife. And then people say, you rubbing it in. I'm not rubbing it in. Kind of. I am rubbing. Okay. I'm not rubbing it in, but I'm rubbing it in. I have a great wife. And sometimes she talks to the cat instead of talking to me. And I'll be in the room, like right there, right over there. Okay. Yep. Right there. Right over there. And she'll come in and she'll give me a little kiss on the forehead. And she'll walk over to the cat and she'll say to the cat, you know how much I love that man. You know how much I love that man. I love that man. You don't know how much I love that man. Okay, she doesn't do it like exactly like that, but I can't do her voice. I tried to do her voice. And every time I try to do her voice, it sounds like this. You don't know I love that man. See, and she hates it because she can hear me. And she hates it when I try to imitate her voice and it comes out like that. Because then after the show, she goes, you read that? You think I sound like that? Actually, she doesn't say that to me. She goes up to the cat and she goes, does she think I sound like that? Does she think I sound like that? So, point is, you can do it in a good way and it'd be a healthy way, or you could have it in the mean way. Or was it meanwhile? Meanwhile. The thing is, you could have it in a non-productive way. So you come in the house and instead of talking things out to your spouse, you say like things like this. You go over to your cat, your dog, or your snake. You go like the snake and go like, hey, snake. He goes, hey, Sarai. And you say to the snake, I forgot. But so that's kind of hypnotizing. Snakes do that. That's how they bite your face. You know, you go to pet them and they just stare at you and then they just bite your face. That's why you can't have a snake for a pet. Or a monkey, because a monkey will do the same thing. A monkey be shaking his head. You go, hi, monkey, and he just bites your face just like that. And all of a sudden, your glasses have like fingerprints all over your glasses because your snake done bit your face and you can't see shit. And you can't see shit, and then the other snake bites you. And that's how they get you. They get the fingerprints on your glasses you can't see, and then they, just like in Jurassic Park, just like that. They could cover the glasses and they just eat them up. So sometimes, so you're talking to your animal, and you don't have good things to say about the spouse. So you go to your animal and you go, why didn't you eat him while I was gone? Why didn't you eat him while I was gone? He's sitting right there. And now he knows that you want the snake or that dog or the cat or the leeches or the monkey to eat him while you're gone. And so what he does is he waits for you to leave and then he tries to train them to eat you. And he like feeds them, like he got the dog and he puts the steak and he wraps the steak up in one of your panties, and he feeds the dog. Every time he bites the snake, he shows them your panties and lets them smell it. And so that when the dog smells your panties when you come in the house, because that's what dogs do. As soon as you walk in, they go right in the crotch, And this way he smells and he thinks, oh, steak. And he starts chewing because he knows you want the dog to eat him when he's taking a nap. And now, so he's done a preemptive strike and he's trained the dog to eat you when you walk in the house. Okay. We should not be using our pets to handle our disputes, is what I'm trying to say. That's especially, if you got a pet with teeth like that. Okay. You got somebody trying to train the cat to smother their spouse while they're sleeping. Okay. Don't use your pets to settle your disputes. Okay. And don't use children like that either. You try to train your children to kill your spouse or mate while you're sleeping. Or sometimes instead of just training them to kill them, you just teach them to just keep the other one awake so long that they just crazy. Okay. You don't use your pets and your children to settle your disputes. You get off your ass and you walk. Or you get off your ass and you make them walk. All right? We just went through March Madness. You had all of March Madness to sneak out. If you were a woman, you could have been gone all during March. You had 2 weeks of March Madness to go. Now you won't have that opportunity again until next March Madness. And you're gonna have to put up with that shit for nothing. But it's not always the men who are the bad guys. I know in my case, I was a saint and the beast was the bad guy, But that's not the point. The point is unhealthy relationships. You should not make your kids and pets pay for unhealthy relationships. Okay? They did not ask to be in that house. You went out and got them and brought them into the house. And so now it's your responsibility to make sure that you're responsible. Let me say that again. Now it's your responsibility to make sure that you're responsible. Lord have mercy. Truer words have not been spoken for 4 or 5 seconds. Now, I'm going to ask the producers behind the scene to play a little blurb for me because I have a show coming up, and if this little blurb reaches you and it inspires you and it moves you to buy a ticket or two to come see me in March at the Church of Satire. See, there's a comedy club called the Church of Satire in Hanover, Pennsylvania. I know it's kind of confusing when people see that the Reverend, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, is going to be at the Church of Satire. And they go like, there's a church called the Church of Satire. First of all, they don't know that's a comedy club. And I'm there to do comedy, okay? Not the other word that sounds like comedy. Is comedy. No, it's not that word. And so that's why people get confused. That's why I spell it out in bold letters. So they say C-O-M-E, come D, okay? Come D. That's, or come die. I don't know what level of education you had. The thing is, I put it in big letters so that people understand it's not a real church. It's a comedy club. And I'm not there to really give you a real sermon like I do here. I'm there to do a mock sermon and to entertain people, not like here where my sermons are like the word of the Lord trying to help you. Or these comedy shows, I'm there to make you laugh, not like this show where I'm here to save your soul. See, brothers and sisters, this is the disembodied voice of the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, DDS, MTM, LIX, EIEIO. You may know me from the comedy special The Disillusionist on the YouTubes and Spark TV, or you may have seen me from the waist up on the Church of Last Resort streaming live on MindDog TV on Sunday mornings 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, here's your chance to see the rest of me and sleep in late. Come see Blessings and Blasphemy, an interactive comedy experience featuring me, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, at the pulpit and you in the pews. Let me say that again. Featuring me, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll at the pulpit, and you in the pews. Hear hilarious sermons, receive thy blessings, confess thy sins, and play games to win forgiveness. Your sins could win you a prize at the end of the night. It's not about faith, it's about fun. Let me say that again. It's not about faith, it's about fun. Tickets for this May 16th comedy show are $10 online at churchofsatirecomedyclub.com and $15 at the door. The door and the rest of the club is located at 106 Broadway, Hanover, Pennsylvania. Seating is general admission, and this show is for people 18 and over. If you want to bring your minor children, don't. If you insist, then their tickets are $500 for ages 6 to 17 and $1,000 for people under 6 years of age. In case you haven't figured it out, I don't want your kids or any trouble with the police. Doors open at 7 p.m. DST. Show begins at 7:30 p.m. CPT. Now, to paraphrase REM, you don't have to lose your religion, but you may want to leave it at the door. And now for a disclaimer. Games are consensual and non-binding unless requested. All other Church of Satire rules apply. And in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck yeah? Lord have mercy. No, that's going to be a really good show, if I say so myself. But don't take my word for it. Let's see what the good book has to say about it. It's going to be a good show. Don't take my word for it. Although I'm the good book. And the good book says something, you should believe what the good book says. And the good book says it's going to be a good show. Thank you, book. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I've been, we're friends. It's just platonic. Just platonic. That's right, just platonic. Nothing, no hanky-panky going on between me and the good book. I'm full of the good book, and the good book is full of me. Isn't that right? All right. That's it. So, gotta set that down. I may need that book later. So, brothers and sisters, to recap, please, 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 do not use your pets or children, but this one was about pets. You know, we'll talk about children some other time. Do not let your pets take the brunt of a bad relationship. Pay attention to what your pets are saying to you. And that is, leave me the fuck out of your relationship problems. That's what your pets are saying to you. I guess I could have said that in the beginning instead of going through all of this. But then I wouldn't have gone through all of that. And the show would have been only 5 minutes long. So what are your pets telling you? Your pets are telling you to leave me the fuck out of your bad relationship and solve your shit. Get your act together. So I thank everybody for being here today. Yeah, I hope that somehow we have reached you just like you have reached me, and that we have reached around to reach each other. I hope that is the case. Those of you who are driving, you may open your eyes now and pay attention to what you're doing. The show is over. So open your eyes, keep your eyes on the prize. Focus, focus, focus. And I thank all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I thank all of you for watching. On behalf of the Church of Last Resort and all the Mind Dog TV family and the entire Roll family, my wife Ramona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie, our dog Stop Dropping, I wish you safe travels, and I hope you will join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Mind Dog TV and everywhere in the wordosphere that our word is heard. Lord have mercy. In the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck yeah?
Fuck yeah! Fuck